Hello, T-Bags. It's me, dear Rhobh. Welcome to Plus Size Tea. I hope you guys are having a good afternoon. Well, evening now. It's a little bit past 5 o'clock. I have a new intro that I'm going to play, and that I'll be playing from now on until I get a new one. I hope you guys like it. Let's try it out and see how it goes.
Goldie Rose. I'm about to spill some tea. Some plus size tea.
Okay. How did you guys like it? I like it very much. I think it fits great with the show. Anyway, we have a big plus size show for you today. A lot of stuff going on nationwide and also in entertainment. So I want to start with some national news first. Um, and I think you guys will like this. Very important. So let's start with um, what's going on in Washington, D.C. And for those of you that are just tuning in, this is your first time. Welcome to Plus Size Tea with me, Dear Rose. Make sure you like, subscribe, and ring the bell so you can always know when I'm on. And we're going to start with the Washington, D.C. story I saw today, which made national history. Karine Jean-Pierre makes history as the first Black woman in decades to give White House press briefing. Karine Jean-Pierre, Principal Deputy Press Secretary for the Biden administration, gave first press briefing on Wednesday and made history as the first Black woman in over 30 years to take her turn at the White House podium. And I think that was a wonderful feat for her. And she states, "Hi, everybody, welcome," she said warmly to a room full of reporters before jumping into the topics of the day, namely a mass shooting in California that I will cover later, and President Biden's request that the U.S. officials delve deeper into the origins of the coronavirus. In her debut, Jean-Pierre appeared to avoid getting ahead of the president and the administration, offering few additional details in response to reporters' questions. She did, however, reflect on a historic moment. "It's a real honor to be standing here today," Jean-Pierre said. "I appreciate the historic nature. I really do. But I believe that being behind this podium, being in this room, being in this building, is not about one person. It's about what we do on behalf of the American people." She also added, "Clearly, the president believes that representation matters, and I appreciate him giving me this opportunity. And it's another reason why I think we are all so proud that this is the most diverse administration in history." GPA also stated that GPA also made history Wednesday as the first openly gay woman to deliver the White House press briefing. She reiterated, however, "This is not about me. This is not about any of us." Jean Pierre said before, referencing her colleague, White House Press Secretary Jean Paskey, "Anytime I'm behind here, and I think you've heard Jean say this as well, we're going to be truthful. We're going to be transparent. And that's the way I believe the president would want us to communicate to the American people." Paskey, as well as many others online, made a point to note the importance of Wednesday's briefing. The last time a Black woman stood behind the lectern in I think it was James S. Brady in 1991, when Judy Smith served as the Deputy Press Secretary to the President H.W. Bush. So that was a very historic moment for Jean Pierre and for Karine Jean Pierre. And not only is she the first Black woman in 30 years, but she is also openly uh, gay. So that's two monumental um, feats for her on Wednesday. And that's awesome. It is so great to see the Biden administration reach out and have such a diverse um, such a diverse administration, he has really shown to want to get the United States back on track and get us all united no matter what it takes. He's going to take a lot of heat and has been taking a lot of heat for trying to be an inclusive, an all inclusive president, himself and Vice President Harris. So we're going to see a lot of pushback, of course, publicly and non publicly. I'm sure he gets a lot of heat behind, trying to make sure everyone is included, everyone is involved, and everybody is represented in the White House administration. So I want to commend President Biden and Vice President Harris on their strides to make sure that everybody's included and there's fair representation across the board. That is awesome. Okay, so let's move along. Congratulations, Corinne. Let's move along to another story I wanted to talk about, which was just mentioned. Um, the shooting in San Jose. Let's get rid of some of this. Um, Horrible. I was speaking about this on my last podcast about the high sensitivity of people heightened, emotional um, strain that is on people during the pandemic. Some have named it the COVID um, stress for being isolated and the uncertainty of the world and things now so different. Ninth victim dies after rail yard shooting in San Jose. This is reported by USA Today. Gunman was longtime rail employee, and this is what they know. Um, a ninth victim has died in a shooting spree at Northern California last rail yard. Excuse me, Northern California Light Rail Yard. The last grim toll of yesterday's shooting. Mayor Sam is, I think it's Laciardo, said Thursday. Um, Such a tragic thing. Now all we can do is what we must support our families and co-workers in the pain and assist their journeys to healing. He tweeted. The gunman, an employee of the sprawling Santa Carla Valley Transportation Authority (VTA) is what it's called, Light Rail Hub, died of self-inflicted gunshot wound, and other employees were among the victims. Police spokesman Russell Davis said on Wednesday. Um, what happened, they stated here, is the suspected gunman, identified as Samuel J. Cassidy, started firing rounds around about 6:30 a.m. on Wednesday, local time, in two buildings at the Santa Clara VTA Light Rail Hub. VTA provides bus, light rail, and other transit services throughout Santa Clara County, the most populated county in the Bay Area. When our deputies went through the door initially, he was still firing rounds. Santa Clara Sheriff Lori Smith said, when our deputies saw him, um, he took his life. Um, they said no words could describe the heartache. Uh, these were the victims. The initial 8 victims were identified by Santa Clara County Coroner's Office Wednesday night. Excuse the mispronunciation of anyone's name. These are very hard names to pronounce. Paul Dela Cruz Miguel, 42. Chapadijit Singh, 36. Adrian Beliza, 29. Jose De Jesus Hernandez, 35. Timothy Michael Romo, 49. Michael Joseph Rudamikin, 40. Abdulavab Akalamandan, 63. And Lars Kepler Lane, 63. Um, they had been bus and light rail operator, mechanics, linemen, and assistant superintendent over the course of their careers. A ninth victim died late Wednesday as well. U.S. Today has not confirmed the identity of the ninth victim that is now deceased. Who is the shooter? Cassidy is 57, was a long-time rail company worker. Payroll records obtained by the ABC 7 News indicate that he earned $160,000 in base pay, overtime, and other pay as a BTA substation maintainer. Investigators are trying to determine whether he was involved in a fire the investigators are trying to determine whether he was involved in a fire at his home and another nearby blaze. A woman who dated Cassidy filed a restraining order against him in 2009, accusing him of rape and sexual assault, allegedly. The filing obtained by the Mercury News also includes accusations that Cassidy had severe mood swings and suffered from alcohol abuse. More, who is Samuel Cassidy? Ex-wife details anger problems. What do they think the motive is? Authorities have not yet determined the motive, nor have they said whether Cassidy was a legal gun owner or what type of firearm was used in the attack. His social media presence, if he had one, was not readily apparent nor in his criminal record. His ex-wife says he had anger issues and was not happy at work. Cecilia Nelms, who was married to Cassidy for about 10 years before they filed for divorce in 2005, told the Mercury News he often was angry at coworkers about his assignments at work. She told the outlet that Cassidy thought the VTA was unfair with his work assignment. She said, however, that she had not spoken with him in more than a decade. Um, Biden and Governor Newsom weigh in on the shooting. California Governor Gavin Newsom met with some family members of the victims. He praised the efforts of law enforcement at the scene, but asked, what in the hell is wrong with us? And when are we going to come to grips with this? President Joe Biden said he would yet again be ordering flags to be flown at half staff to mark another mass shooting tragedy and made a plea for gun control legislation. I urge Congress to take immediate action and heed the call of the American people, including the vast majority of gun owners, and to help end this epidemic of gun violence in America, he said. Um, so, as we did state earlier, a ninth victim dies late Wednesday night, but that victim has not been identified yet. Um, Again, as I stated, we've had mass shootings in the past. But on a previous podcast I did on my Spotify platform, I did a show where there were 45 mass shootings within 30 days, which spanned from the end of March until the end of April. 45 mass shootings. Because we all live all over the world, we don't always get the news of in every sector or every demographic about what's going on. But I took my time and researched, and I discovered that there had been 45 mass shootings across the United States, different types, from road rage to parties gone wrong to workplace shootings, domestic violence, and things like that. It's horrible. There is an epidemic. um, does the gun legislation go hand in hand with the COVID fatigue? Evidently, yes. I do believe there should be some type of legislation on gun control, but we also have to remember that we're in the middle of a pandemic, and the COVID fatigue is getting to people. People are at a heightened sense of emotional insecurities. They don't know what the next thing is going to happen. We are still under some restraints and mandates due to the pandemic, the coronavirus, COVID-19. And this is unprecedented things that are happening to the American people, and they don't know what to do. People have been isolated together for 18 months or more. now. The rise of child abuse and uh, abuse amongst adults have risen, and I think we need to also not do something about the gun legislation, but we also need to improve our mental health net so that those that need help can seek help. If it's nothing but a 1-800 number, or adding some type of mandate to insurance to ensure that people could get free mental health. Because I think when we had this pandemic crisis, it caused something like what happened during the time when it was the Great Depression. And I think it's even worse than it was within the 2008 2010 recession. It's worse because at least during that time you could still get out. It wasn't a disease, it wasn't a pandemic, it just was a recession, a very hard hit. American people was hit hard economically. So what I'm saying is the COVID fatigue is having a play on some of these people going off in these rages and killing people. Yes, guns need to be have some legislation, but it doesn't have everything to do with gun control. It has a lot to do with the COVID fatigue. It has a lot to do with what's going on in with the pandemic. So, and I think we need to broaden our mental health services so that people can have someone to talk to and to be able to express themselves of what's going on, or either receive medication. We always know that mental health is one of the uh, many silent killers, or many of the silent way people suffer silently and they don't get help because it's such a stigma to it. So I think we need to normalize the fact that everyone needs someone to talk to, and especially during this heightened sense of emotion that people feel. So I would encourage our, our officials and our lawmakers to do something about improving our mental health um, statutes so that people could get help. Okay, so let's move on to another national news making incident, and it is another horrible uh, shooting as well. My mouth just dropped when I heard this is also. This is reported by NBC News. Military couple shot to death outside their home. Police are searching for a Nissan and its driver after a military couple was shot and killed outside their home in Virginia, authorities said Wednesday. All of this happened on Wednesday. Two different opposite sides of the United States, East Coast, West Coast. Edward McDaniel, 55, and Brenda McDaniel, 63, were fatally shot in the 8,000 block of Flint Street in Springfield, an area just southwest of Washington, D.C., according to Fairfax County Police. Both were military veterans. The husband was an active duty colonel in the U.S. Army, NBC reporter reported. They were tragically and horribly murdered in their neighborhood, Fairfax County Police Chief Kevin Davis said during a news conference on Wednesday. The motive was unclear, but authorities said that they believe the tragedy was related to a burglary at their home on Monday. A preliminary investigation suggests the person who broke into the residence earlier this week is the suspect in the shooting. According to the police, officials have not specified what evidence led them to draw that conclusion. However, David said police also believe the shooter was known to a relative of the military couple. He was they may have known him. Officers respond to the 911 call about 9:20 a.m. Eastern Time at their residence. According to police authorities, they found the bodies of the two victims in the front yard, both with multiple gunshot wounds. At least two people were inside the home at the time of the shooting, police said. Investigators are searching for a light colored 2018 Nissan Altima with Maryland license plate number 1EF1479. A $10,000 reward was offered for information leading to the suspect's arrest. The deaths of the McDaniel couple marked the ninth and 10th homicide in Fairfax County this year. And I've lived in that area um, in my mid and late 20s, or my early 20s, mid 20s. Nice area, very low crime. And I'm just so shocked. It's everywhere. It said it's the ninth, it marked the ninth and 10th homicide because it was a couple in Fairfax County this year, 2021. So as I stated before, if you do your research, guys, it's epidemic of these mass shootings going on, 2 and 3 a day in different parts of the country. It's 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 mind blowing, and it has to do something with mental health. I'm telling you, we have got to get a grip on getting people help. I'm just, I don't know what to say. If we, we can make a plea that something um, is done about it. Now, this is another story I'm bringing. I'm going to talk about Kevin Hart um, interviewed Monique, the stand-up comedian Monique. I'm sure you're familiar with her. She had a long run on her own sitcom, along with Countess Vaughn, The Parkers, and she's the original queen of comedy. She's an Oscar winner for Precious and other movies that she has, and things television that she's done. Kevin did a interview with Monique, and they were discussing the things that went on with Lee Daniels and Oprah and Tyler Perry and things like that. And Kevin got very emotional, and he apologized to Monique because Kevin said he did not stand up for Monique. No one actually really did stand up for her. And Kevin gave his reasons why. He said he felt like, I'm not getting in it. It's none of my business. I don't want to mess up what I have from the powers that be. And I think that was the what was wrong across the board with all maybe the black comedians or black Hollywood was, oh my God, Monique's making a stink. We don't want to get involved. We're going to mess up our money. Families and things like that. And a lot of the things that being said across the board about not helping her. But Kevin Hart, he admitted to her that he didn't want to get involved. He didn't want to mess up what he had going on. And he apologized to her for not taking up for her, for not standing up for her. Now, Monique did admit that Oprah, Tyler Perry, Lee Daniels, and some of the others, they did call her and she was right. They did call her and tell her, no, you didn't do anything wrong with demanding more from Netflix, and your other white female counterparts were offered more money for their shows, this and that. But nobody wanted to make us think about it. Nobody wanted to stand up. Nobody was um, had the balls to like stand up for her or stand up with her, and it made her look like the villain. And as she stated, she wasn't blackballed; she was whiteballed because Netflix made her feel like she was wrong for wanting what she was worth. She was an Oscar winner. Now, what we don't realize, what comes along with winning an Oscar is what comes along with winning an Oscar is when you're asked to do anything, movies, any type of sitcoms or television appearances or specials, whatever. She's supposed to get a certain amount of pay. Now we already know that, of course, she's not going to get what her white counterparts may get, male or female, especially if they're male. Even the white counterpart females don't get what the white males get, but they get more than the black actress or actress. And from my understanding, Monique said she was offered like $500,000 when Amy Schumer was getting 3.5 million. I'm just paraphrasing. And that was like what, and same thing. Even Wanda Sykes said Netflix offered her the same thing. Matter of fact, Wanda said Netflix offered her less than they offered Monique because Wanda Sykes is not only a black actress, she's a black gay actress. So she said they didn't even offer her as much as they offered Monique. So that was a slap in the face to Wanda. But Wanda said she didn't make us think about it. As a matter of fact, Wanda only said anything about it when Monique said something about it, but she didn't make a real big stink about it. But she did say that Netflix did her the same way. They flicked her off with a low amount. But anyway, Kevin vowed to Monique if she would allow him after he apologized to her, and she did let him know when he had that accident and he was having his infidelity and things like that. She said she was asked in an interview to make a comment about the incidents he was going on, the things that he had going on in his life, and she said she blatantly told the reporter or whoever that was on the interview with her that she would not talk about Kevin because they did Soul Plane together and they had became really close. So she said she was not going to discredit Kevin. That was her baby, in quotations. And she said that that she really liked Kevin and she was not going to let them try him in the media, that she took up for him. And he said that's what made him feel bad because he knew that Monique, she took up for Kevin, but Kevin didn't stand up for her. So in a tearful, very humble apology to Monique during the interview, he asked her to forgive him for not standing up for her, that she was right in her stance against Netflix. And would she allow him to bring the people to the table that she needed to, that she needed to, get her career back going, if she would allow him to be the mediator and to give him a couple of days to pull it together. If he could get everybody together. So I don't know if it's going to be Oprah, Lee Daniels, um, Tyler Perry, maybe some Netflix representatives. I don't know. Kevin does have the clout now. He is the guy. So hopefully he will be able to mend things between um, Hollywood and Monique. She has been working on herself. She looks really, really well. She dances her pounds away on her show, Monique's World. And she's happy. She seems content. But I know that she's hurt because um, no one stood up for her. Even Steve Harvey clowned her on his show, you might as well say. Steve Harvey was like, girl, get somewhere in the corner and shut up and sit down because ain't nobody finna mess their paper up for you. Like, take what they was gonna give you, da 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 da, in so many words. So, we all see what happened to him later. He is still doing well. He still has the Family Feud, but he has lost a lot of endorsements. He lost a talk show. But karma will come back and bite you. But anyway, hopefully Kevin will be able to get um, the powers that be to the table and get Monique back working. Thank God that she said Tyler Perry offered her $500,000 uh, for her woes. So I, she said she told him to keep his money and just do what was right by her. I still would have took the money and I would have took the money and still been mad. But um so hopefully this will get worked out. Again, Monique is an Oscar-winning actress for her portrayal in Precious, written by Lee Daniels, produced by Lee Daniels, and Lionsgate, and hopefully that she will be able to be redeemed. Um, Again, somebody else stated in another article that what are we going to do? Wait till Monique passes away and do this big thing about her that she was such a great comedian and she'll be missed in Hollywood and things like that. No, let's give her her props now. We need Monique. We need her back in comedy. We need her back on screen. I think she's missed so many opportunities that should have been hers. And let's make it right. Um, Forgiveness is not just for the other people, but it's really for yourself first. And I think Monique has done a lot of work on herself, as well as her husband, Sydney. And I believe it is time for her to get her career back on track. And the powers that be, those that can help her now. It is the time, it is the season. Um, the poor are getting richer, the bottom is coming to the top, and give her her just deserves. We love you, Monique, here at Plus Size T. She was the reason why I'm where I have landed today. I'll never forget in 2000 and what 5 or 6 when she did that BET show when she did that Beyonce dance. She gave me the courage to explore comedy and to get and to do things that I was afraid to do. You know that I because I'm a BBW, because I'm a big girl. I was shy and ashamed, to be myself. But I've come a long way, and I've always admired her. Even though now she's losing weight and she wants to be more healthier, her mindset is not the same. That was 10, 15 years ago, and or more. And so things have changed with her as far as being, but she'll always be a plus size Barbie to me. Okay, so let's move on to, oh my God, last night's Real House of Beverly Hills was monumental to me, and Garcelle is shaking it up. Okay, Garcelle is making these ladies look at themselves. A lot of times, okay, so I'm not gonna say that the ladies in Beverly Hills don't have black friends or black associates or work with black people, had black workers or whatever. But with the racial injustice that's going on, I like how Garcelle this time, because last year she didn't have time. She very rarely filmed, but I'm really proud of her last night, and the new girl that I can never remember her name, but I'm going to make sure that I say her name tonight and say it correctly. The Asian girl that is on the show, I am going to make sure that I say her name correctly. But I am very proud of Garcelle and the new girl for the tough conversations that was had. Now, the first monumental conversation was had between Garcelle and Kyle, which I was so glad was had. Garcelle called out Kyle about last season's reunion show, where Kyle said, "Oh, you didn't pay your pledge for $5,000 or whatever the amount was for this charity function that Garcelle had came to." And even though Kyle was being shady and was calling herself getting back at Garcelle about what Garcelle said about her at her gala where she was honored, Kyle didn't know the ramifications of what she had said to Garcelle racially. And Garcelle let Kyle know that when you accuse me of not paying maliciously, we have stereotypes that we don't tip, we don't pay our bills, da 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 da. Kyle said she didn't know that. You should have saw how big Kyle eyes got when Garcelle asked her, would you have did that to one of the white ladies? And Kyle's eyes was like, how dare you ask me that? Like I wasn't being racist towards you. And I felt like Kyle was trying to get back at Garcelle about what Garcelle said about her at her gala. Some of these women here are my friends and some of them are not. And she was directing it to Kyle. She said so in her confessional. But because a lot of times white America is not all oblivious to some of the stereotypical things that a black person go through, or our lives, what we deal with on a daily basis, because they're not black. So Cal, told her, she said, you can't say those type of things. Those things they stick with me. They'll say, they already say we don't pay our bills, we don't tip, and all the other things that they say about black people. And she said, and that made me feel really bad. And I thought you were saying that throwing that as a racial slur. But Kyle was like, no, in so many words, I was really throwing shade because you said it to me. So I said it back to you. But now she knows. And I saw Garcelle, and she did an interview with someone recently. And she was talking about this season's show and how she felt the need to really have serious conversations with her white friends about being black and opening up the door for real conversations, for them to be educated on our lives and how we live daily and the things that we have to go to and go through. Um, and I thought that was maybe a step towards certain people that maybe don't even, it's not that they don't want to, it's they don't have to. They live a certain lifestyle. They're in a certain percentile where they don't have to deal with these type of things day to day. Even though they may have black friends that may be on the same, upper crust register with them, but still dealing with that type of racial tension. A lot of white people don't have to deal with that. They don't have to they don't know about the days in and days out of it. So to educate them on, what it's like in the day of the life of a black woman is I think it's good education for them, because our children are melted together. They go to school together, they work together, and you want your children to be educated. You don't want your children to show behavior against other races or other minorities and things like that. And just for the education for women, period. We need to bond together. We need to stick together. So I thought that was a good conversation. So then you fast forward to they went to took a little trip for the weekend to Lake Tahoe that Lisa Renna put together. And Garcelle went back to Lisa Renna and said, I hope you don't think that things are peachy keen between us just because we had this little lunch. I'm not going to be fake with you. I don't like the way you did Denise. I don't like the way she did Denise either. I think that was horrible. I cannot believe that, um, the way they crucified Denise like that last year. I think they were classes and egregious against Denise. I think they thought they were better than her. And it was really ugly. That was nasty how they did Denise. But anyway, Garcelle inserted herself between Lisa and Denise's mess, which she had no business, but Denise is her friend, so I guess she calls herself taking up for Denise. And she's supposed to be Lisa Rinna's longtime friend too. And Garcelle asked her, she was like, if I tell you something about me, will I be able to trust you? Like, will I be able to really trust you with my true feelings? Are you my friend? Are you really my friend? Because look how you did Denise. So Lisa goes on to say that she really might have been friends with her in the beginning, and then she went down the timeline of how many times they would see each other a year. And I don't think that really matters. If a person is your friend, they're your friend, whether you talk to them every day on the phone or whether you see them once a year at a reunion or a cookout or something like that. It doesn't matter. I have girlfriends that I talk to every other day. I have girlfriends I might talk to once every 3, 4 months. And I have girlfriends that I might talk to once a year. But they're still my girlfriends and they're still my friends. And I'm not going to throw them under the bus or disrespect them in any kind of way about their lives or what's going on in their lives just because we don't talk every day. So I think that was unfair of Lisa Rinna to say that, oh, in the end, me and Denise might have saw each other once a year. What difference does that make? If you're a friend, you're a friend, you're a loyal friend. So I don't see how Garcelle is going to have a real, true, authentic relationship with Lisa Renna with that kind of way mentality that Lisa thinks. I really myself don't believe they wanted Garcelle on the show. I believe that's why Lisa Vanderpump really left. I liked it, Lisa Vanderpump, but I believe that was all of that mess about Teddy and the dog and all that kind of stuff like that. I think that stuff was just a smoke screen for Lisa didn't want to film with. Why they're bringing somebody black on the show? Why does the show have to be diverse? As also you notice they have a new girl on the show, um, and she's of Asian descent, and she had to have a tough conversation with the ladies last night as well. It was um, Lisa Renner, Lisa Renner, Sutton, and was it Dory or Kyle? Anyway, the new girl, I can never remember her name. I know her maiden name is Kung. I know that, and Metcalf is her last something like that. I can't remember her last name. Anyway, she turns to her picture is on the thumbnail. Okay, she turns to Sutton, which is a Southern white woman, which I can say that her and Garcelle have become very close. Now, a lot of people was wondering, like, why is Sutton and Garcelle close? First of all, Sutton is a Southern white woman. I believe it is because Southern white women, because slavery, I guess I just have to say it, you know, slavery was really prominent in the South. And Southern people, we grew up together, we picked the crops together, we worked for them, we raised their children, they're used to us, they're used to our presence. Um, they are not that they can't be racist, but I think the relationship between black and white people in the South, even though it can be racist, but I believe Sutton it's easier for Sutton to have a relationship with Garcelle because she is from the South. I may not be explaining it well, but I do believe that Garcelle is that Sutton is not. It's not odd to Sutton to have a black person in her home or to eat with a black person or to work, to be around black people because she is Southern. And that's how Southern women, they had maids, they had mammies, and things like that. So I think that's embedded in Sutton. So that's how come I think it's so easy for Garcelle and Sutton to have a good relationship. They have a very good relationship. So anyway, in the kitchen at night after dinner, Sutton was trying to explain to Kyle and the Asian girl. I cannot remember. I don't want to cut this card. The Asian girl. Um, but she's super rich though. And the other young lady that she's very good friends with Garcelle. Her and Garcelle get along very well. Garcelle is very real. If you keep it real with her, she'll be real with you. And that she's a very good friend. And Sutton really likes Garcelle a lot. She was taking up for her. And she said, Kyle, you can't be fake because Kyle is fake. She's fake. So Kyle was like, oh my God, Sutton, how can you say that? So the Asian girl said, I don't want to call her Asian girl. The new girl said, um, her not being white, but she said, by me not being white, I can understand where Garcelle is coming from. She said, now I'm not saying I that I have the same type of racial indignations and stuff that happened to me as a black woman. She said, I'm not saying that now. She said, I can't even touch what Garcelle goes through daily. She said, but I have friends that do the racial slurs to me and says things about Asians and whatever their stereotypes types things that they say about them too. She said, so I can understand where Garcelle is coming from. So Sutton makes another comment that rubs her wrong, and she turns to Sutton and says, are you that type of woman that don't see race? And Sutton's face was like Kyle's face when Garcelle asked her, "White, would you have said that it had been a white woman?" And Sutton's face was like, "Oh my God!" She clutched her pearls and dropped her mint jewel. Let me stop. And and it went off with her not answering. So I guess it would be on the next episode. So she asked her again. She said, "Tell me," because she was very aggressive with her. She was like, "Tell me, are you one of those women that don't see race?" Because we know what it means when a person says, "I don't see color." We know that's not true. Like you see color. It's That's impossible. They said that is a another way to um, avoid talking about race and to avoid looking at what's really going on and things like that. These are hard conversations. I, Bravo is really stirring it up. They have an Asian young lady on Dallas Housewives as well. They've included a black girl in the New York franchise. And watching her the other night was like fish out of water. I don't know how she's gonna do it. I understand Bravo wants to bring diversity to the Housewives. I think it should be organic though. Now that we've learned that they put these girls in here and say that they're friends and but they're really not. Um, I don't know. The young lady on the New York Housewives, she doesn't even fit. I mean, I don't even know how they're gonna do it. She's doing very well the first two episodes. She's hanging in there. I don't know who she's supposed to be friends of. I think she's supposed to be friends of the younger girl that's on the show, and I can't remember her name. They're so unmemorable. If I can't remember your name, you're boring to me. But anyway, she's hanging in there. Sonya gets drunk, and she keeps talking about her charities and she's a good person, and I heard a couple of throw offs on that she did on the black girl on the Housewives. I don't know if people picked that up, and I think a lot of them are very upset. But like, why do we have to have diversity? This. And I feel kind of the same. Like, if I mean, if they're really not friends with these people, like I said, I'm not saying they don't have black counterparts or black friends or black people they work with or black people, that work for them. But if I mean, how can you make uh, a scenario of they have black friends, or they have Asian friends, or they have women of other nationalities are their friends? I don't see how they can make it happen. But this is TV, this is Hollywood, and that's what they're doing. They are trying to make it all diverse across the board because Nene accused them of being of some things were racial and things like that. So I don't know if this is the way for them to counteract Nene's accusations. I don't know, but um, they put a black girl on New York Housewives. They put an Asian girl in Dallas. They put an Asian and black girl on Beverly Hills. And um, I guess they don't have to do anything with the New Jersey Housewives because they get it with nobody except for not having anybody of color there. But anyway, as Wendy calls Dolores, Black Dolores. But I don't know. I don't. It doesn't seem organic to me. I do like that they're trying though, but I think it should be authentic, and it doesn't seem real, and it's hard to look at, especially for New York. They're not even engaging with her. It's like she's just there. They very rarely talk to her. She's trying to insert herself. She's really funny. Her mother is very funny. The girl on the New York Housewives. She called her mother several times while she was on the little mini vacation with the ladies, and they didn't interact with her. I haven't seen any of them film separately with her. Um, I don't know how that's gonna go. If I were her, if things doesn't change between now and I wouldn't even sign back up for next season. I, to me, it's painful. Now, Garcelle, and the other young lady, I think they're gonna fare well. Um, I don't know why there's a difference between the West Coast girls with the diversity than it is with the East Coast women. I don't know why there's a difference there, but there is. Maybe it's money. I think the West Coast women have way more money than the New York ladies do. So I don't know if it's their reputation more or the East Coast doesn't really care. It's New York. I don't know. I don't know why there's a different. feeling that I'm getting from both those shows. But anyway, kudos to Bravos for trying to, bring diversity. And we'll just see. We'll just wait and see, guys, how it turns. These shows do turn. Also, just to give a little update about Portia, then I'm going to close out. Um, Portia has been bragging about her 3 weddings because in the African culture, some African cultures, you have the 3 weddings. You have the wedding here, you have the wedding over there. I think you have another kind of ceremony. But anyway, it's alleged that she's getting this 3-part little mini spinoff to tell her story. And from what I'm hearing in the news and things like that, she's not able to hold much longer. That this is like a storyline, this is a plot, this is fake. My predictions was that it was fake and that she will ride off into the sunset with Dennis and her baby and maybe her alleged baby that she's supposed to be pregnant with. We don't know if that's true or not. She doesn't look pregnant in any of her recent photos, but it's alleged that she may be, with child again. But anyway, I think this is a plot to keep her spot, to hold her peach. She has not been married on the show since Cardell divorced her the first season. And as you know, it is called The Housewives of Atlanta. Um, Cynthia's been married twice. Kenya got married. Candy got married. Some of the girls come in already married, and then they get a divorce. But you have to have a husband somewhere. And I think it's time for in Portia's contract for her to have a husband. Now, why Dennis didn't marry her, I don't know. I thought they had secretly got married, her and Dennis. But now with all these rumors about this African man and Shamia hooking her up, because Shamia is married to a prominent, wealthy African. And maybe Portia saw Shamia's life and she wanted someone too in that statue. But what about love, though? My grandmother asked me when I was a young girl, she said, would you marry for love or would you marry for security? Now, back then, I said I would marry for love. But now I see, you know, love don't pay the bills. You got to pay your own bills. So maybe Portia's looking out for her future. Maybe she feels like her stint on Housewives is not long. It's not long lived. Things can happen. The franchises can, lose grip and start falling off. They can start cutting people off. I don't know what her mentality is for wanting to marry this man is not even divorced yet. He's supposedly be wealthy. He's supposed to be worth 40 million, but you know, we don't really know. We don't really know what line of business he does. I don't even know. But she wants to live this certain type of lifestyle. I think she does well for herself. But sometimes you get caught up in all the glitter and the gold and the money and stuff like that. I don't know. I don't know what her reasoning is, but we will find out soon. I think it's all a hoax. I think it's fake, but we'll find out in a couple of weeks when the special comes out on what she does, her tell all or whatever. But I think she's trying to hold her peach. She's trying to hold on. Won't you marry Dennis the hot dog? Dennis is worth like 8 million. The baby daddy, he worth like a couple of million. He got the hot dog places all over everywhere and stuff like that. It's just not in Atlanta. He's a pretty wealthy guy. So he's a whore, but allegedly. But he's a pretty wealthy guy. So I don't know why, she doesn't. I don't know. Maybe her motive for getting with Dennis, her mother, I don't think his mother ever really liked the Portia in the first place, but I guess she saw gold digger written all over her. I don't know. But Portia could hold her own though. She's on the Ricky Smiley show. She's on the Housewives. She has her hairline. She has her um, bedding. She does like linen and bedding and towels and stuff like that. They said that's doing fairly well. So she's doing great in business. I think she'll be able to take care of herself. So if I were her, I would have second thoughts about would I want to be married to a man for the rest of my life? Not so much the rest of your life, but would I want to be married to a man for a couple of years and be unhappy, knowing I'm not in love with him, just only for money and you know, when you're already living that lifestyle that you're providing for yourself? Why would you want to go get in a relationship with a man that supposedly has, supposed to be wealthy and you're not in love with him? and you have to raise a child or children with this man. Why would you do that? Why would you put yourself through that? For money? You make money, Portia. You make your own money. You're doing great. So I don't know. I don't know what makes women, feel that we have to do things that are not good for us in the long run, no matter whether it's for money or what. Even I make my mistakes in relationships just to, either not be alone or the fear of being alone or not knowing my worth, settling and stuff like that. And even though hers may be for money, she's still settling for this guy that has money, but she doesn't love him. Just the same as me settling for a guy that is he's not emotionally available, but I don't want to be alone on Saturday night, or I'm afraid I'm going to be alone, so I'll settle for this guy that's there whenever. So it's the same thing. It doesn't matter what type of social status you are in. Women settle and be unhappy, or either say I'll just put up with it. I'll just close my eyes and you know and grin and bear it and be unhappy. So, and I think we need to start loving ourselves more, no matter what our social status is. We need to care about ourselves more, and we need to know our self worth, and that's across the board, no matter who you are. So, Portia, I wish you the best. I can't wait to find out what's really going on, but I've already made my prediction. So, but anyway, thank you all for tuning in. If this is your first time, please like, subscribe, ring that bell so you can know when I'm on. I try to do my shows on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. I do my Spotify podcast with the same name, Plus I See with PIERRE, on Spotify Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And that show is geared more to motivational, on my life's journey and things like that, spiritual, um, on that podcast. So I really appreciate you guys tuning in. As I say every time until it gets old, that I'm new on YouTube, and I love being here. I thank all the other tea spillers that came before me that paved the way, and I am really enjoying this platform. This is so fun to report and gossip and talk about all the stuff going on. I really like it. All my information is in the description box where you can reach me at. You can email me at justforrose66@hotmail.com. You can find me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. All right. I love you all. I want to say good evening, good afternoon, and good morning to some. See you Saturday. Smooches. Bye bye.